All right. Um, I think we are recording. Okay. So, again, welcome everyone to how to share your why to create connection and clients. This is going to be a super jam packed masterclass. It's going to be really fun and interactive. And based on what everyone shared, I think it's going to really support you with some of what you're looking to do in your business. So, that said, my goal is to support you in finding and reconnecting to your why and using it to create that deep connection with your audience. So, a little bit about what Barry touched upon in terms of like, what is it and how do I get to it again? And how do I connect it with the people who really need these services? So we went through the intros, although I'm going to share my own. We'll do the masterclass. If there's time, we'll have some discussion and potentially group coaching, and then we'll kind of close things out. So I switched the picture up this time. I've been using the same one for the past like 10 presentations. I was like, let's do something different. So most of you know me. My name is Aaliyah Levinson, and I am a business and life coach for entrepreneurs who are looking to be empowered and grow their business, attract clients, and ultimately get themselves out there and visible. I have a background in social work. I am a published author of the book called How to Win with Willpower. Speaking of resilience. And I am also a mama. And this is my husband, Mike, and my baby girl. You've probably seen a ton of them if you've been on social media. Her name is Violet. And okay, so if you are here, I am assuming, or if you're watching, I'm assuming what drew you here, in addition to what everyone has shared, is because you've been through something big or some things big in your life, right? Like you, whether or not that thing was initially wanted on your part, or you stumbled into it, it's probably created a lot of who you are and the way that you show up and the way that you help people, and it really drives you. So maybe you've been in hustle mode around like business building and who am I talking to and what does all that look like and how do I get started and all of that, offering a lot of different things. Or maybe you're sort of wondering, like, well, based on what I'm very inspired about, how do I connect that to my people? Like, how do I make that match? So, if any of that speaks to any of you, or maybe there's something else, go ahead and type a one in the chat so I know that that I'm speaking your language. Okay, let's see here. 11111. Awesome. Okay, cool. So without being too on the dot, on the nose about this, there are going to be three keys that we talk about when it comes to finding your why. And before I even get into this, like, we all know that your why and like your purpose, this is a topic we all think about, we've all heard about, there's so much about, but my goal is to help take, a perspective on it that actually gets us really clear on how our why is going to be the thing that attracts the right people to us and who exactly those people are. So clarity on kind of both sides, your people and your brand slash business. And the way that we'll do this is going through your why, how, and what. So how many of you at one point in time have seen, heard about, read about Simon Sinek's TED Talk about your why? Yes. Okay. Head nods. Okay. So this presentation is based on that, and we're going to get really kind of into and workshop around how he shares finding your why. But before we do that, when you hear the word why, what do you think of? Like, what comes up for you when you hear your why? And anyone feel free. Yeah, Jill.
When I think of why, it's and I'm having so much trouble with it, but when I think of it, I think of that aha turning point, that like something or someone or an event or whatever it is just completely shifted you into this mode that like you have this burning desire to like do something because that happened to you or with you or for you, or it happened, something happened and it's changed the trajectory of your life.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah, I guess for me, a lot of my knee-jerk reaction to why is kind of reactionary as opposed to intentional first. Like it comes as a result of something else. But I'm reworking my thinking around that.
Hmm. I'm curious, Elise, what do you mean by reactionary?
When I think, when I'm asked, like, why are you doing this? I think we kind of dig into, I had a response and that's why.
Mhm.
I guess where I'm maybe wanting to challenge my own thinking around it is, I don't know, just maybe more intentionality around mapping something out intentional instead of, well, this happened, so I reacted. But I don't even know if that's making sense, but it's that's what comes up for me with that question.
Yeah, Eileen.
As we're talking about this, what comes to mind for me is something that I learned at IPEC that I have stuck with. Sorry, I'm eating an M&M. And it is, be at the cause of your life rather than the effect. And what really tripped this up is what was just being said about that, reactionary. And I think why for me, more and more in recent times is very much about being on the proactive end of things, at the cause, the intention that you have more than that reaction.
Mm.
Does that make sense? I don't know if I made any sense.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. You just said it so much more clearly. Thank you.
Don't you guys love that quote? Be at the cause of your life rather than the effect. I mean, that comes up for me practically daily. I share it with everybody that talks to me.
Mm. I love this. Yeah, it sounds like there's a theme of okay, where's the intentionality piece? There was some sort of response to something I've been through, so there was a reaction that happened, and now I'm living my life differently. Anyone else have anything else that that's coming up with what the idea of why right now?
I have a question in regards to Eileen, what you were just saying, like being at the cause versus the effect. So, so then isn't there something that caused you to want to be at the effect, if that makes sense? Like
Do you really
something had to start that ball rolling, right? But then you intentionally decide to do something as a result. Did I understand that right?
I'm not sure that I heard everything that you said, Jill. And Aaliyah, I'm happy to turn this to you. This is your program. So if you want to say something, by all means, the floor goes to you first.
Yeah, well, we'll kind of dive in. But it sounded like what Jill was asking you, Eileen, was like, like if you're choosing the cause, are you choosing the effect? Being at the effect. Is that what you're saying, Jill?
Well, just that if the why is about being at the cause versus the effect, it like or being very intentional, it would be in response to something that, right, there would have been something that then causes you to make a decision to do something.
Yeah, just off the top of my head, I think it's a very insightful and deep question that you're asking, Jill. I absolutely believe that histories and experiences and all of those types of things come into play that form that choice of proactivity and being at the cause, like knowing what your cause is. But yeah, I would think that it is based off of history, experience, beliefs, values, all of that kind of stuff.
And it's like at the intersection, maybe that's what it is. It's the intersection.
Well, this is actually a perfect kind of like segue, because we're going to define your why for the purposes of kind of this presentation. So for this presentation, and for what we're learning, your why is an internal knowing of what motivates and inspires you to create change. So I'll say it again, just so we get it in our minds, in our beings, an internal knowing of what motivates and inspires you to create change. So, you know, I think what we've been talking a little bit about is, and without really saying it, is there's this story, there's something that goes on that ultimately creates this why. And I'm going to share my story with you guys now of what kind of created my own why. So basically, and some of you may know parts of this, some of you may not, but ultimately, so I was just to dive right in. So I was in my early 20s. It was after college. I had gone to college at Indiana, and I was living in Chicago with 4 of my good friends in an apartment. And I got a phone call from my mom, who told me that my younger sister had taken her own life. She was 4 years younger than me, and she had been depressed, and it was, you know, obviously a complete and total shock and devastating. But ultimately, what I kind of realized going through all of that was like, oh my God, we only have one life, you know? And I think for so many people, that's something you don't quite like really sink into until you're maybe in your like late 50s or 60s and start to realize your own mortality a little bit. So for me, all of a sudden I was hit with this information in my early 20s. And it made me feel as if, oh gosh, I've been kind of coasting. I've been partying with friends. I've been having fun, which is all good, but like, I really want to like do this thing. If this is my life, like, what do I want to do with it? So I decided, I found out about coaching. I decided I wanted to become a coach. And I decided that the best thing I could do was choose to live into my potential. Until that point, I had really kind of felt like, I'm not doing what I know I'm capable of. I felt like I had more of a capacity to thrive than I was really living into. And after that, I was like, oh my gosh, YOLO, and let's do this. So this became my why, which is to help others recognize their worth and live into their potential the same way that I'm kind of doing in my own life. So I want to let me just take a breathe. Like, let's take a little breather. I know that was a lot late on everyone. Anything coming up for anyone as I describe my why, or any clarity, questions, anything at all?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden I had a big aha, but I don't want to keep talking because I'm always talking.
Jill, I'm so happy you had an aha. And it's funny how like, it's like when someone else tells their story, you kind of have your own aha story. So I'm with you. So anything else coming up for anyone? And then we're going to kind of like dive in. Okay. So yeah, so that was my story. And that's really ultimately been so, you know, obviously incredibly sad but bittersweet way of me kind of stepping into my purpose and my capacity in a much deeper way, probably much sooner than I ever would have. And helping others do the same. So it's why I, wrote my book. It's why I coach. It's why I do everything I do, is to kind of help try to wake people up to the fact that they are worth it and that they can live into their potential as well. So, okay, so this is from Simon Sinek's talk, and he talks about the why, the how, and the what. And we're going to define the how and the what as well. But for right now, basically, we're thinking of the why as, basically what we defined it before, right? An internal knowing of what motivates and inspires you to create change, right? The how is the way in which you enact that change. So the how is the way in which that change happens. And then the what is the result of that change. And we'll get more deep into those definitions as we go along. So don't worry about jotting everything down. But we'll take kind of a pause to look at how Apple did this. And this is again from his talk as well. So with Apple, the computer company, their why is to challenge the status quo and thinking differently. So their how is they do that with their design and engineering talent, using amazing designs and prioritizing simple user experience. So basically the why is informing the how. And then the what comes out of that, basically how they show up in that, is their iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks. And why this is even important, like why our why is even important, is because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And Simon Sinek basically found this kind of formula. He's like, wait a second, why is Apple doing so incredibly when Dell and like HP are creating similar products, but they aren't like thriving? He's like, what's the deal with that? And he basically realized that you want people who buy your why. So ultimately, you want to sell, your customers are the people who believe the same thing you believe. Okay, so before we get into your exercise, which we're literally going to go into finding your why, are there any questions on this or anything else? And know that we're going to define your how as well. Nope. Okay, cool. Okay, so finding your why. So everyone got their amazing journals and pens and pencils? Okay, great. Okay, so let's take a couple of minutes and look at these questions and just kind of like release whatever thoughts might be going on in your head about like what you thought your why was, or even maybe how I defined it, right? Like, let's just look at these questions and journal. You could journal all of them, you could journal one of them. Take some time to just journal what comes up for you here. And when you're ready, just go ahead and like look at the camera and maybe put your pens down so I could tell. Could play some music. Okay, everyone need like another minute or two. Would that be helpful? Yes. Okay. Okay, so I know you guys are still writing. In the spirit of time, we're going to go ahead and pause on that, and you can definitely feel free to come back, and kind of journal out your thoughts. So what came up for you, for anyone with this journaling exercise?
I think for me, it kind of reinforced some new ideas that I've had, just maybe intuitively, and maybe even had been feeling a little nervous to fully explore or live into. So that was kind of neat to have that confirmation.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I think that I've been trying to take like certain things that happened in my life and make them be my why of why I'm doing something. And when I actually asked myself some of these questions, I figured something new out that isn't about what I thought it was. So, yeah. And so that's kind of opening something else up. And then that was for at my best. But then I also came up with something interesting that just kind of flowed out of my subconscious, I guess, about at my worst. But was most interesting is what energizes you, because it kind of brought together my best and my worst, and that energy piece kind of like fit right in there with where it goes down, where it goes up. So it was interesting.
I love that. Thanks, Jill. Anyone? Barry, did you have something to share, or were you just shifting your
No, it's funny. I wrote down something and I was kind of sifting through papers that are all around me because I was trying to find what it was I had written down, because I've been coming to kind of a statement similar to yours that's very compact. But I mean, I know where I'm my best. I kind of have an idea where I'm at my worst. I know what energizes me. And I kind of have done an exercise recently on core values. So I kind of like I'm there with what my values are.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just refining that statement to be, the one driver. I mean, I have part of it, but I still think there's more to it.
Yes. So that's good. So it sounds like there's insight that's kind of come out of this, in like, wait, really looking at what are some of the answers to these things, and how can they inform a bit about what it is that what my why is. So basically with your why, and we're going to start it now. Again, we all know that this is a bit of a process. Like, it took me a little bit of time to really figure out, okay, that's really what this is about for me, because we all are capable of all the things. We're all like multifaceted, capable people, but when we really get down to it, what is that thing? So we're going to do another exercise with kind of creating this sentence, or maybe sentences. And ultimately, this sentence of your why is going to be short and succinct. It's easy to understand, and it doesn't include what you do. So it's kind of like purpose based. So I pulled a couple of whys from some things that I found that may be supportive to look at. One why that I found was to help people be more connected in their life, business, and career. This was from a coach who had lost her husband suddenly, and she realized that she was on autopilot and completely disconnected from what she was doing and who she was with. So what happened for her is she really wanted that connection piece in all areas of her life to materialize, and that's what she supports others on. The other one here is to consistently grow, develop, and challenge myself so I can be better than the person I was the day before. So we will kind of delve into starting to create our own whys. So take another couple minutes and jot down just some thoughts, some initial thoughts, or maybe you're at a place of a sentence, but what comes up for you with this? And again, I'll put this definition here, and just let me know when you're kind of close to being done.
Done.
Oh. Okay, so in the spirit of time, and I'm sorry, I don't want to pause you guys, but we got to find our why. So we'll pause right here. And let's just go ahead and share, like, what new, if anything, what new language, what new words, what came up with actually sitting down and starting to take some of these ideas into action. And Jill, I know that happened for you so fast. Oh, Eileen has something to say too. Whoever feels called.
Mine is quite simple. The word that is most present is create. And I think it's very connected to what I was saying earlier about being at the cause rather than the effect, because, everyone has a responsibility to create the life that they want, to, identify that purpose and create the things that are necessary to achieve the results, blah, 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 blah. But like, the word that is really screaming at me is create.
I love that. Create. There's like an ownership piece to it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. I love that, because accountability is so big.
Yeah, I love it. So good. Did any other words or even a feeling come up for anyone around this? Even if it's like a, I'm not sure. Like I feel even more lost.
I have two things. I think I had mentioned before to you, Leah, that with WBEX, I facilitate for Simon Sinek. And so we did this exercise in there where we took time to reduce down this kind of thought process into 5 words. So you could only express, kind of like how Jen and Karen just did this 3 open-ended question, 3 words in a question. So we had to, I had everyone reduce it down to 5 words. And what my 5 words were inspire others to maximize potential. That's always been my thing. But I have another sentence too, but the other 2 words that come up for me that are not in there is the word leverage and the word empower. Because leverage to me, it means like kind of to lift others up in some way that they want to be lifted up, and empower gives them the power to be able to do that. So I might need to start changing and putting some of those words in there.
Yeah. So you have the sentence in place, but you also feel that these words are important.
Yeah. So the other sentence was inspire teams to leverage their strengths and empower them to create positive impact. So that's a long sentence versus the other one is more my own, everything I live by, inspiring others to maximize their potential in my relationships with my friends, with my family, with people I coach. Like that's the essence of me.
Yeah. I'm hearing that one feels very true to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think with this sentence, it almost feels like a no-brainer. Like, yes, that's what I do. That's who I am. That's what I care about almost. Not to say that it's not challenging to land upon. Is anyone having a challenge with this? Like, how do I narrow this? What word is the word? Okay, in the spirit of time, because I'm not sure we're going to get through everything, but I want to make this actionable for you guys. So basically with your why, right? Kind of going back to what we talked about, your clients are the people who want to work with you because of what you believe in. So their beliefs basically match your beliefs. Does that make sense when I say that? Okay. So like what we'll do is we'll quickly look at the how, which is the next circle in this kind of bucket, which is basically how we're defining it is the unique way that you action your internal knowing. So if we're thinking about your why, right, like your inner knowing of what motivates you to create that shift, with the how, it's, well, how do you action that? How is that a thing, right? How do you make that work? So ultimately, this is what's going to differentiate you and what's going to make your products, just kind of like with Apple, pop and stand out to the right people, because this is what's going to make you different. So when I thought about my own how and like what that looks like for me, what I developed was that providing unparalleled customer service and attention to client needs, truly caring. So I want to let you guys know how I came up with this. I kept hearing over the years my clients say like, oh, I just work with this coach, but they just didn't like, they didn't care. Like I was just like a number to them, or oh, she gave us all this information, but she never followed up. And there were all these like signals again and again and again of just a lack of caring. And it almost matched my personality because I really care, and like I really care about my clients and I want them to succeed. It's super meaningful to me. So that was the way that I developed my own how. So if we kind of look at it, we can see that if the why is helping others recognize their worth and live into their potential, which is, these are mine, then the how kind of helps illuminate that why. How do I do that? I truly care. I truly care. And if I truly care, then that's going to help my why materialize. So finding your how. If we're thinking about finding your how, and I know we only have about 10 minutes. Why doesn't everyone take a little bit of time to journal to these couple of questions, which is, what are you uniquely good at? And what do your customers really want? And I'll put on a little musica here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause, everyone. And again, you can come back to this. I'd be happy to have a call with you on this because I want you to be able to get this. But so tell me what came up initially with these questions. Like, what are you uniquely good at, or what do your customers really want?
So for me, I'm good at solving problems that with connection and resources to help people. What they really want is to reduce their time spent in the stress space, and they just want to be happy and enjoy life, but they don't know how to do that. Or they don't have the resources. They don't think they have the resources to do that.
Barry, I just wrote down I help people use connection and find resources to reduce stress and increase happiness.
I love it.
Who else is good at something? I know all of you are.
I have down that I help others see things from new perspectives.
I love it. And Jill, what I would ask you is what is their current perspective stopping them from seeing what, if we're thinking about your customers, your clients?
Well, it's the current isn't working, but they can't figure out why it's not working. So it's almost like that place of stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that I'm really good at opening that space to go, oh wait, I didn't see it like that. And now that I'm looking at it from this way, I now know what I need to do to make it better. And I feel like I do it really great in groups, like where people may be sabotaging each other based on a dynamic that's going on, but I'm also good with individuals on doing that as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I wrote down, and this may, depending on if you're saying the self-sabotage, I didn't get in here, but what came to me is and maybe it's create, but I open the space for you to release the stuck and embrace a new empowered view.
Oh, wait, I like that. Will you say that again?
Yes, I open the space for you to release the stuck and embrace a new empowered view.
That's exceptional, Aaliyah. And I'm not even Jill to say that.
Wow.
Well,
That I have to completely ditto that. That was exceptional. Like
Really?
it's just opened my like it's just so refreshing and so powerful and beautiful. Thank you.
I'm so glad. And ultimately, like, these things are going to be that match for what it is your clients want or how they want to work with someone. So your clients are probably looking for, like, look, I just need that space. I'm so glad. Anyone else, anything come up with the why? And I'm going to make sure we end on time, because I know. Barry said, can you repeat mine? Yes. Let me see if I could just write it. Oops. So yours was, I think, I help people use connection and wait, I help people use connection and find the resources to reduce stress and increase happiness.
Yep. Perfect. That's awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
Elise or Eileen, anything come up for you guys, even just feelings or thoughts or words? Yeah, Eileen.
I'm very disappointed in mine. I still am speaking too much in generalities, and this is something that I should. Yeah.
Yes. If you want, we can hop on a call and kind of, discuss what it might look like. And part of what I might add, if things are feeling general, is one, talk to your ideal clients, do some market research and get a sense of like what hasn't worked for them when they've looked for a service like this. Like, what is, because ultimately the how is your client's needs plus what you're good at. And it's like a little circle people.
Yeah.
Elise, I see you.
Yeah, I just, I also had the word sabotage in mind, which was kind of curious. Not like a word I hear all the time, but it's come up today. So, yeah, I've been giving this a lot of thought, and really what I do is help my clients develop confidence in their God-given ability to cope with any circumstance, by helping them see where hidden beliefs and unhelpful attitudes and negative energy are sabotaging the peace God wants to give them.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
But packing it all in, so.
Packing it in. what stands out right to me is giving them the confidence. Like, I feel like there's something there. And then also with the God piece, like there's something there. But yeah, maybe looking at that a little bit, because it's a lot of like good things. And I bet if you got it just a little bit narrow, it would help you really reel it in for yourself and those others.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome. So maybe is anything coming up with like a topic where someone's like, I really now want to know this? Because sometimes that happens on these calls, and then that's the way that I create the next workshop. So yeah, Jill's the reason we created this one. So Jill, do your yeah.
Well, the next piece for me is like, so I kind of had that like 5-word why, right? And then now I feel I love this new piece that we just kind of came up with, the how. But kind of figuring out that story that connects my why and my how, like how I got here and then why I'm doing what I'm doing. So like I have that why phrase, but the story, the narrative, my story of self, like it's still like I still am like, well, why do I want to work with teams? Like why don't I just want to work one-on-one to help people get unstuck and then, you know, have a new empowered view? I have this huge passion that I want to go into companies and work with teams. But what's my narrative? Like, what is my story? What's my exact message? So that storytelling piece.
Yes.
That really connects your how and your why to what you're exactly doing as an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing with it, right? As a coach or whoever you are. What's the full-on story, you know, that stepped you into this why and how? You know what I'm saying? Because that creates the connection with the client. The how and the why are like can be interpreted on the website. You can have like a really powerful phrase or part of your elevator pitch, but that really resonating connection happens in your story, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I totally hear you. So for you guys, maybe it's getting this stuff kind of down, taking it, workshopping it. I'm going to put a link if you want to set up a call with me. It's basically like a strategy call. So if it feels like, oh, we'd be a good match for working together, we could explore that. But ultimately, I'm going to give you an actionable kind of way to put this sentence together as well. So I'll put that link in here for anyone who wants to do that and set up a future call. But for the next one, we'll look at, connecting your story and how to share your story so that it makes sense. Why do I work with those teams? Like, why am I here, basically? So thanks, Jill. I think that's really good.
You know, once you have your story of self, it connects you to the story of us, you know, like that whole, which puts you on a trajectory of story of now, which is how do we move forward now that we've identified that and created that connection? How can we create really great things together? And so that's why if I don't have my story of self, I can't get off the ground.
Yes.
I'll be quiet.
Yes.
But that's my idea.
Yes. You know more than you think. Just planting that seed. Right?
Right. I don't know about that. I'm just an external processor.
Well, thank you so much to all of you for coming. It's been awesome, Elise, meeting you. I'm so glad that you joined. Yeah. And I'm going to do these most likely every other week-ish. They've been going strong so far, and it's a fun way to connect during this time. So I appreciate you all being here, and I hope that you got a little bit of value in taking some stuff away with your why. So
thank you so much, Aaliyah. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Oh, Barry,
awesome.
I thought you were going to say something. Oh, thank you.
No, I was clapping and saying it was awesome.
Oh, well, clapping to you guys too. Thanks for showing up for yourselves and your businesses. Oh.
Yes, Aaliyah, you are brilliant. This was so great. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad. So it takes one to know one. Okay, so I'll see you guys at the next one.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Meet all of you.
Yes, good.
Thank
Hi,
meeting
nice
you.
to meet you too.
Bye.